Hey everyone. We see the headlines all the time, right? Climate change, pollution, ecological damage. But what's actually driving all of it? Today, we're going to dig into the real root causes, the human activities that are fundamentally changing our planet. Let's get right into it. It's so easy to point to the obvious stuff, the smokestacks, the clear-cut forests. But those are really just the symptoms, not the disease. To get what's going on, we have to look deeper at the engine that's making all of this happen. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And really, the core idea here is simple, but it's also incredibly powerful. It's us. This isn't some random external force acting on the planet. Nope. It comes down to specific things we do that throw nature's delicate systems completely out of whack. So let's break down exactly what those activities are. To really get to the bottom of this, we're going to walk through a few key drivers. And the crucial thing to remember is that they're all interconnected. Think of them as the building blocks for the environmental challenges we see today. And we're going to start with the most basic one of all.
Okay, first up, people and consumption. This is the starting point for literally everything else. It's pretty straightforward. The more people there are, the more resources we all need to live.
You can see that direct line right here. As the world's population grows, so does the demand for everything. Food, a place to live, clothes, you name it. And look, this isn't about placing blame. It's just a simple reality. But that reality puts this immense, foundational pressure on our planet's very finite resources.
And all that pressure, it leads directly to this term, overexploitation. It's basically when we use natural resources so much, so fast, that they just can't bounce back. The best way to think about it is like a bank account. If you keep withdrawing money way faster than you deposit it, well, eventually, you're going to run out. That is exactly what's happening with things like deforestation, mining, and overgrazing. They end up destabilizing entire ecosystems.
Now that huge demand for resources directly fuels our next driver, the incredible growth of our industries and our cities. As we need more stuff, our factories and our urban centers have to expand to keep up.
You can really see the chain reaction, can't you? Industrial growth needs a massive amount of raw materials and fuel to run. And the unavoidable side effect of that whole process is pollution. Pollution that gets into our air, our water, and our soil. It's just a very clear, direct, and pretty damaging pathway.
And it's not just the factories either. How we build our cities makes a massive difference. When you have unplanned urban sprawl and just haphazard construction, you create a ton of new problems. We're talking huge challenges with waste management, big spikes in city-level pollution, all of which puts even more strain on the natural world around them.
Okay, our next driver is something that touches every single one of us every day: farming. The sheer challenge of trying to feed billions of people has pushed us toward practices that have some seriously big environmental consequences.
So here's the trade-off we've made. To get the most food possible out of the land, we rely really heavily on chemical fertilizers and pesticides. But the fallout from that is pretty severe. These chemicals, they don't just stay on the farm. They seep into the soil, they run off into our water, and over time, they actually reduce the land's fertility. And on top of that, they can directly harm both human and animal health.
So, we've walked through population pressure, industrial growth, and modern farming. Let's kind of pull back now and see how all these pieces of the puzzle fit together to create the big picture. And this, right here, is probably the most important thing to get. None of these drivers are happening in a bubble. They actually create this powerful feedback loop. More people fuels more industrial growth. That growth requires more resources, which in turn demands more intensive farming. It's a self-reinforcing cycle of human activity. And the end result of all of it, together, is environmental decay. So let's just recap those 5 root drivers one more time. It all kicks off with population pressure. That creates resource misuse, which is that overexploitation we talked about. This then fuels industrial growth and all its pollution, right alongside sprawling urban expansion. And holding the whole thing up is unsustainable farming. See how they all link together? And all of this leaves us with the most critical question of all, doesn't it? Now that we know what the real drivers are, what does a truly sustainable future even look like? How do we build a world that actually addresses every single one of these pressures? Honestly, that's the challenge ahead for all of us.